In this YouTube video, we're going to be covering me buying and selling my very first real estate property. We're going to be diving into all of the numbers, how much I paid, how much the renovations costed, how much money was made, and the whole entire story. So make sure you guys stay to the end of the video so you can get all of the details. So to start off, I'm going to be simply explaining what house flipping is, and you might have guessed it, it's where you basically buy a house for cheap. It could be a little bit run down or not in the best condition. Then after you purchase it, you can renovate it, put in new appliances, etc. Then hopefully you can sell it for more than what you paid for it. So a lot of you guys might be asking why I got into real estate, and this is because I found out that 90% of all millionaires become so through owning a real estate property, and this is a famous quote by Andrew Carnegie, and he was absolutely loaded. Another reason why I wanted to jump into the scene is because I've seen a lot of people do it, and I've also seen a lot of videos like this. Furthermore, real estate is relatively safe, and I wanted to learn how to do this, and I figured if I could do this one time, I could do it again and again, and hopefully I could make this my side job or maybe even my full-time job. And to add on top of this, my parents are also both in the field, so it's just something that has always been in my day-to-day life. So once I built up enough capital to buy my first house, I was really excited to do so. So after I decided I wanted to get into the real estate game, I wanted to buy my first property within the $300,000 to $500,000 price range. And in terms of location, I didn't really care where it was. However, this specific property turned out to be in the downtown area, so very popular. So I'm sure a lot of you guys are wondering how and why we bought this specific property, and essentially we found a condo scrolling through MLS and Zillow. It was a pretty good deal and it wasn't in the best condition. However, I did consult with my dad and he thought it was a really good deal. So we did end up looking at the house and looking at some pictures, and we did think it was a good deal, so we ended up putting an offer, and a couple weeks later we actually got confirmation that our offer was accepted. So I was super excited about this whole entire thing, and lo and behold, we got our very first property under our belt. However, the whole process wasn't that easy, and there's a lot of ups and downs and a little bit of hardships through this whole process, which we'll be diving into. So for this specific condo, it costed $315,000. However, we did actually finance the house and we took out a loan, so you don't actually have to put that much down. In total for the down payment, we only put around $120,000. So we didn't actually pay for the whole entire house in cash. And also after we bought the house, we had a debate whether we should just flip it or whether we should actually rent it out. However, after looking at the overall real estate market, it does seem to be on a downtrend, and we ultimately decided that flipping it would be best. However, if we couldn't flip it for the price we wanted, we could eventually just sit on it and rent it out and sell it at a later date. So without further ado, let's get a drum roll and show you guys the house. Oh, hey, didn't see you there. So we're gonna be giving you guys a quick little tour. This is currently the kitchen situation. These cabinets, pretty old, so we're gonna basically come in and make it all brand new and nice. And also, this thing is like for dwarves kind of, so like you gotta squat down. It's not really practical, so we're gonna be raising this up as well. And next up, the carpet. Right now, there's kind of old tile in the kitchen, and also at the same time, the carpet's kind of old, doesn't look very good. So we're gonna be doing vinyl. Yes, very nice for the flooring, and I think it'll look a lot better and it'll make it a lot more modern as well. All right, now, next up, the living room. As you can see, it's just a box right now, but like I said, the floor will be nicer. But to my favorite part now, let's go take a look at this view. Tell me that isn't beautiful. Moving on, so this is gonna be the master bedroom. There's termites. This is the bathroom. So basically you have two closets here. Again, this one's gonna be a mirror, and this one's also gonna be a mirror. And also now to the sink area. Take a look at that, by the way. Definitely not optimal. This part is really, I don't know. Just take a look for yourself. Take a look at the bathtub. Like I said, right now it doesn't look great, but I think in 2 months, our contractor will make it look very, very good. So I'm excited to see the results. So this is what the house did look like. I know when you first look at it, it doesn't seem that great or that optimal. However, because it wasn't in the best condition, I believe that's why we were able to get it for a good price. Also, as you guys can see, this place isn't huge. This is in the downtown area though, like I said. And some of the things that we did want to fix was the whole entire kitchen. Also, as you guys can see, the carpet area, kind of dirty and doesn't look that appealing. So we decided to get rid of all of that. Another thing in the apartment was the popcorn ceilings. In my opinion, they did not look amazing, so we decided to get rid of those. We also decided to install a new barn door, and this is one of my favorite parts of the property. Another thing that we did was put new appliances throughout the whole entire place. So new sink, new dishwasher, even new cabinets. But overall, this apartment was not looking great, and it did need a lot of work. So we did hit up some of our contractors, and they were able to get in there and do a phenomenal job job in my opinion. They also did the whole entire renovation relatively quickly. I think it only took around 1 month, and during this time there weren't a lot of challenges. However, if there was, we were talking through it with our contractor, and things from there were relatively smooth. And now we're going to be showing you guys in the apartment the big reveal on the final product, so I will see you guys there. All right, guys, welcome to the new apartment. So I'm going to be giving you guys a quick tour of the whole entire place and give a quick pat. All right, so we're gonna be starting off with the kitchen area. When we first got this place, I'm not sure if you guys could tell from the old photos, it was really wooden, and also this island here was a lot lower, so we actually raised it. We put in marble countertops, and we also got in new appliances. So first off, a brand new stove, so you could cook your food in the morning or at night. You got your brand new microwave as well, and we also installed some new cabinets. So you get a lot of storage, and they also match the aesthetic. All right, guys, another thing we got is a Whirlpool refrigerator, so you're gonna have a lot of storage for your food. We still have the stickers and tape in there because it's brand new. And again, more storage along the top. And we also have a dishwasher here and a very large sink for you to do your dishes. Another thing that I love about this place is we actually installed a waterfall countertop. So instead of just it breaking off, it actually goes and it flows down, and I actually love the aesthetic. So this is gonna be the main part of the whole entire apartment. All right, guys, so the second part of the apartment is gonna be this living room area. So you have a lot of outlets along the walls, but rather than that, it's basically a big room. So you can put your couch over here or maybe a TV, but overall, it's just empty. Another thing that we have if we move along here is gonna be a barn door. So we actually had this installed, and it's pretty big. So if you wanna section off the area and close it off from your sleeping area, you can do that. However, if you do wanna have a more open feel, you can leave this door open. Another thing we have, this is a brand new AC. So it does get a little bit hot here, so we do have the AC unit to keep you cool. And another thing that I really like about the property is gonna be the view. You can see Diamond Head, a little bit of the ocean, and you can basically see all of downtown as well. So, and if you walk in here, this is gonna be the main sleeping area. And again, you could wake up out of bed and see your beautiful, not quite $1 million view, but it's nice. And right next to it, we have the bathroom. So we just installed these two mirrors. We also busted down the top area because it was a little bit crowded, so we decided to knock that down. So we have his and hers closets. We also have a single sink over here. So again, we went with the marble countertop, new appliances. We also have these overhanging lights to match the aesthetic. And we also lastly have this bathroom over here. So I'm not sure if you saw from the earlier photos, but it was basically a wreck. So we had to gut the whole thing out, install a new toilet and also a new bathtub, and we also had to do the walls as well. This is gonna be a new place, my very first real estate property flip, and I'm super excited about it. I wanna give a shout out to my mom and dad for helping me. But now we're gonna see you guys on the tripod, and we're gonna dive into the numbers, how much we paid, how much the renovations costed, and how much we actually made in the end. So I will see you guys there. All right, guys, so now we are back on the tripod, and now we're gonna be diving into some of the fun details and expenses on the entire property. So right after all of the renovations were done, we stood it on the market, and I was super excited. I thought we were gonna instantly make a lot of money. However, that just wasn't the case. Overall, selling the property was not really easy. It actually did sit on the market for a long time, and we did have a listing price of $450,000. And finally, after weeks and weeks of waiting, we actually did get a buyer. These guys did put in an offer at $440,000, so this wasn't gonna be full price. However, it was a good amount of money, and we decided to accept it. So fast forward a little bit, they actually ended up pulling out of escrow, and we were left with the property once again. However, thankfully, we did get some backup offers, but during that time period, it wasn't necessarily fun. I was personally wondering if we were going to lose a lot of money or whether we had to take the listing off and eventually just rent it out because we couldn't get the price. However, in the end, after all of the waiting and falling out of escrow, it did sell for $450,000. However, there is a little bit of a caveat which we will dive into. So this is the fun part that I'm sure a lot of you guys are here for. So in this section, we're going to be diving into how much we paid, how much we bought it for, and also the overall profit. So I do have the spreadsheet pulled up here, and I'll also pop it up on the screen. Like I said, we ended up selling this place for $450,000. However, there was a buyer's compensation for $10,000. So we did have to give them that as a credit. So you could kind of think of us selling it for around $440,000. Furthermore, there are a lot of fees for the realtor, the loan charges, title insurance, maintenance, etc. That all costed $10,545. Also, on top of that, we did have to pay a realtor to do some of the paperwork, which is actually my auntie. That costed $300. We also had to buy the materials for the contractors to work with, and this costed $4,500. And the total renovation itself costed $28,000. And on top of that, another weird thing that we had to do for this property is buy a parking lot. And this is something that's mandatory. However, we had to spend $7,000 on this, which is definitely not ideal. However, I don't think that this is a regular purchase that you would have to do in the future. And on top of all of that, we still have the closing fees, which cost $14,804. The maintenance costs, which we had to pay every single month once we bought the house, which comes out to $3,150. And we also have the interest costs. Like I said, we took out a loan, so we didn't have to buy it fully outright in cash, and we ended up paying $6,326. And another thing we did was get a locksmith. This only costed $95. So the total fees that we end up paying comes out to a whopping $84,720. So now the moment you guys have all been waiting for, how much money we actually made. So we did sell the property for $450,000. We paid $84,720 in fees, renovations, materials, etc. And the overall purchase price was $315,000. So if you subtract all of that from the sale price, the total is going to be $50,280. So that is how much we've actually made on the property.
Get your numbers up. I had to get my numbers up.
I do want to give a huge shout out to my parents and also my brother for helping us along the way. This was really exciting, and I did definitely learn a lot of lessons along the way. One of them first was being you have to pay a lot in fees. Initially, when we got into this investment, I thought we were going to make way more money. However, this just simply was not the case because I was not aware of all the fees and how much of the little things actually add up. The second thing that I would say I learned is patience is a virtue. I was definitely worried for a little bit, wondering if the property was going to sell, if we listed it too high, if there was any interest at all, if the market was going to turn. So I was a little bit anxious during this time period, but thankfully the property did end up selling. The third thing that I would say I learned is that this whole entire thing takes a lot of time. The contractors have to get in there and do a lot of the work. The closing times do take a while, so it's not as easy as you might think. You are waiting in a lot of the time periods. However, in terms of manual labor, you're not doing a lot. However, you are risking a lot of your capital when you do buy and sell, because if the market were to turn and you couldn't sell it for the price you want and you took out a loan, you could definitely lose a lot of money because you have to pay for things like the maintenance fee and you have to pay the interest on the loan that you took out. And if the property value does fall, you're essentially left with an asset that is going down and isn't retaining its value. And on top of that, you do have to pay all of those interest payments. So I would say that market conditions are a big factor if you are buying and selling real estate properties. But that is essentially the whole entire video. I hope you guys learned something. And if you did, please make sure to like the video, subscribe, and also comment down below, and I'll try to respond back to you. If you made it to the end, I am extremely grateful, and I want to thank you so much. If you're interested in this type of content, like I said, make sure to subscribe. And there are a couple of other projects and properties that I have bought. So if you guys want to be updated on that and see some videos, make sure to let me know. And those are things that I'm really excited about. And I do want to say thank you once again, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.